embarking on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue. Welcome to the Monday edition of the show. No Austin again today. He is still in the process of moving, so getting internet set up and doing all those things. So hope to have him back for the Thursday show, the matchups and picks show. But for today, talking about all the crazy stuff that happened this past weekend, James Franklin being let go, Trent Dilfer there at UAB. And at this point, kind of who's the next person to kind of fall in line? And Mississippi State has quite an opportunity on Saturday with going on the road at Florida. They're in Gainesville. Is this the end for the Billy Napier tenure at Florida? Because, I mean, look, honestly, they have a bye week right after that. And with all the traction of being moved around with Franklin, and all of a sudden there's conversations happening more frequently when it comes to Hugh Freeze. Like it just seems like this is an opportunity, and we'll get into it in a little bit later on. But Mississippi State has a history of taking opportunities like this and kind of ending tenures. If you remember back in, the Croom days, they call it getting croomed. Man, you lose to Alabama, or lose to Mississippi State and Sylvester Croom, you're going to get let go of a job. It happened to a couple different people. So we'll talk about that. And then also happened with a couple different coaches there at Mississippi State. But we'll kind of get to that in a little bit. And then also some of the matchups this weekend. I mean, this weekend's a great weekend of college football. There are so many good games, and honestly, so many games that just have so many different implications. And I'm really looking forward to getting into it and certainly hearing your thoughts. Remember on Thursdays, I just want to make sure I get this out. There was one of our followers that won the giveaway, the Hovey hat giveaway a couple weeks ago. Kind of took a picture, sent it to us on Twitter of his winning. So it's just a good reminder to make sure you enter into our Thursday giveaway. So Thursday morning, there will be a tweet that comes out. It's sponsored by Hovey, and so the Hovey will send you a free Mississippi State Hovey Performance hat. It's really, really a cool hat. And they'll send it straight to you. Just if you get the winner of the game right and the score prediction right, be the first one to do it. So you want Thursday, jump on it as soon as the tweet goes out. Because if someone has the same pick as you, same score, but they did it before you did, that's going to them. So unfortunate. But a lot of good stuff to get to in today's episode. But hey, before we get into that, I want to let you know that this episode and every episode is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Heath Riles Barbecue. Grill with confidence, season like a pro. Heath Riles is home to award-winning rubs, seasonings, sauces, glazes, marinades, injections, created by 2025 Memphis and May Grand Champion and 81-time barbecue Grand Champion Heath Riles, which I might have to say 82-time barbecue Grand Champion because he just got first overall at the Jack Daniels barbecue competition in Lynchburg on Saturday. I think I have to go back and check. But look, here's the deal. He doesn't just make products and then go use something else. He uses the things that he allows other people to buy. And his products are trusted by pit masters and backyard cooks alike for bold flavor and winning results. You can get his stuff at over 15,000 retailers nationwide, or just go to HeathRilesBarbecue.com and enter promo code DAWGS10, DAWGS10. You get 10% off each and every time. I know, man, this weekend I've got some plans on the smoker. I'm going to certainly be using some Heath Riles Grill with confidence, season like a pro. And also, hey, are you looking for your new favorite Mississippi State hat? Look no further than Hovey hats. I got one on right now. And look, they're high quality headwear that'll have your friends asking about them. Hey, where did you get that hat? I got it from Hovey, man. Take a look at their collection of Mississippi State hats at HoveyDryGoods.com. Hovey offers limited edition hats in small batches, bringing a fresh look to some of your favorite teams. Grab your new favorite hat at HoveyDryGoods.com. Again, they sponsor our Thursday giveaway. So make sure you follow us on Twitter, just at MyDawgsPod. And enter into the giveaway, and you can see if you can win a Hovey hat, and they'll ship it to you. We're doing it. They're sponsoring it for every single game Mississippi State has left during the season. So, man, certainly do appreciate them. Sorry, my voice is a little raspy today. I'm not really sure what it is. Long weekend, allergies in the air. A lot of stuff going on. If my throat keeps getting worse, I might have to contact ENT physicians in North Mississippi. They're the largest private ENT practice in the state. Their goal is simple: deliver fast, expert, and comprehensive care for patients of all ages with ENT, that's ear, nose, and throat, allergies, sinus, dizziness, balance, and voice-related needs, with same-day or next-day appointments with ENT urgent care for that annoying cough or sore throat, in-office CT scans, and same-day allergy testing, and access to their comprehensive audiology team offering a full range of services from hearing aids to custom hearing protection to potential surgical options. ENT physicians in North Mississippi are committed to removing barriers to care. And they now have new locations in New Albany and Starkville, in addition to Tupelo, Corinth, and more. Get more details at entnorthmississippi.com or call 662. Computer went out there. Make sure we got it. There we go. 662-844-6513 for more details. One of the things I thought was interesting, Mississippi State had some of their media notes come out this morning, and we've talked about some of the things Mississippi State's defense has done so far this season. I mean, they've been impressive, so far. Obviously, the A&M game kind of hurt them a little bit, but Mississippi State and Florida actually both only give up 19.8 points per game. But Florida's offense has been struggling. They're averaging just over 22 points a game, while State's right at 34 points a game. This matchup with Florida is really going to kind of come down to something that's not really a big surprise. Can Mississippi State's offensive line protect Blake Shapen enough time for him to get rid of the ball? And Mississippi State's offense has been really, really good. I mean, their explosive offense is ranked second in the SEC of plays of more than 40 yards. They have 11 of them, and then they have 5 plays of over 50 yards. And they also, so they're able to score in kind of big plays, but they are not. And you saw it against A&M. They were not able to do that whenever they did not have time to throw. And Florida does have a very good defense. Florida has a pass rush not at the level of Texas A&M, because I mean A&M literally at this point is number one. In Tennessee, who they played 3 weeks ago, they're number 2. So like that, State's in a little bit of a tough spot. But Florida has a really good defensive line. I think Mississippi State's going to have the ability to do well on the defensive side. Like DJ Lagway, of course, a lot of talent, but it just seems like at this point in his time at Florida, it should be going together at this point. And that's kind of the big thing with Billy Napier. At this point, he should have it figured out. And Mississippi State's offense in the first quarter specifically has been really, really good. I mean, through 6 games, State's defense has still not allowed an offensive touchdown in the first quarter. That's a really, really good stat. But I mean, we saw it versus Texas A&M. They weren't able to take advantage offensively, and they still only allowed A&M 1 touchdown in the entire first half before things kind of got out of hand. But a part of that comes from turnovers. So one of the media notes here, after creating only 12 turnovers the entire season last year, Mississippi State's defense is ranked among the best in the SEC in creating turnovers, with 11 turnovers already through the first 6 games. So 12 all of last season, 11 basically halfway through that. 8 interceptions and 3 fumble recoveries so far. And Mississippi State's 8 interceptions is already over the total for 2024's total interceptions. So Mississippi State's defense has found a lot of success. And a part of that is the personnel that Coleman Hutzler has gotten in is a lot better. They really invested in the defensive line, even losing Will Whitson, which is really a huge blow. I mean, he was really looking dominant in the first couple of games. You lose him for the season, but this is the reason why they went out and paid so much for the defensive line. There's so much depth on the defensive line. And DJ Reed has a couple of sacks. He's proven to be a guy that had potential. I mean, honestly, like almost everybody State got outside of, a few on the defensive side. Jerron Manning's kind of he's proven that he's kind of what he was as advertised. Everybody else was like, hey, they've got a lot of potential, but can they kind of put it all together? Speaking of Jerron Manning, for the second year in a row, Mississippi State has a safety ranked inside the top 10 in the SEC in total tackles. Jerron Manning has 40 tackles this season and leads Mississippi State and ranks 7th in the SEC. He's averaging over 6.5 tackles per game. He had 13 tackles. Goodness, 13 tackles against A&M, which, I mean, they were getting to the second level there in the second half. But and he played really well, taking Isaac Smith's spot. So the question really does lie on that. But here's, and Thursday is kind of when I'll make the official pick, and Austin and I will kind of talk about it. I got to be honest with you, though. I really believe this could be where Billy Napier's tenure ends. Something about the flow of it's something about the flow of how Penn State lets go of James Franklin, and all of a sudden there's 3 head coaches that were fired Saturday. I mean, we're halfway through the season, and there's so many other jobs that are open. This is already the season's kind of on a trajectory of a place we have not been to. And the fact of the matter is, like, Florida has a bye week right after this. And it would just be a perfect excuse for Mississippi State or for Florida to say, okay, well, look, we either lost to Mississippi State or we didn't play well, and we have a bye week now. We take some time to figure all this out, because this is the schedule that remains for Florida for the rest of the year. So Florida hosts Mississippi State this Saturday. Obviously, they're off. Then they host Georgia. I mean, that's a loss, right? I mean, anyway. It'd either be your fifth or sixth loss. Then you go at Kentucky. That should be a win. Kentucky's lifeless at this point. Then you go at Ole Miss. That's a loss. Then you host Tennessee. That's a loss. And you host Florida State. I guess anything can happen there, but I mean, Florida State's the better team of the two. I mean, you're looking at 4-8 in this season. So there's not a lot of hope kind of at this point going on, or pardon me, this point going forward. And I think with how I know people will kind of look at how Mississippi State played against Texas A&M and kind of look at the final score and go, well, there's a lot of discouraging things, but State was missing a lot of important pieces. A&M on the road is kind of a different place than Florida on the road at this moment. I mean, if Florida gets everything rolling, it's a different kind of ball game. But it just feels like this spot where what else can Florida do? And remember, you don't even have to lose to Mississippi State to get let go. Gus Malzahn, remember, he beat Mississippi State close. I'm trying to remember, was that 2019 or 2020? I can't remember, but very close. It wasn't a pretty game. And Gus Malzahn at the end of the game is like jumping up and down with his guys celebrating the win. And the next day he's like let go later that night just because they struggled to play well against a bad Mississippi State team. So I wonder if that's kind of the same thing on how Florida will be judged. If Florida really struggles but still pulls out a win, is that enough for them to say, I think this is it? And I really do. I feel like one way or the other, this could be the week where Billy Napier is finished with it. Ben State has a shot, but they've got to figure out the offensive line part. I think Albert Reese at this point is not a foregone conclusion. I think I believe what Lebby said this morning was that he was not full. He and Isaac were both not full padded today, but Wednesday is what they're going to try to give it a go. Isaac Smith, I feel like, is a guy you really need to play in a game because this is a winnable game for Mississippi State. And at this point, if you look at the state schedule on paper, I sent out a tweet yesterday, and y'all are some negative Nellies out there, man. There's some negative folks out there in Mississippi State land. I get it, I understand, but if you kind of looked at Mississippi State's remaining schedule, they're 4-2 right now. Here's the remaining schedule. And several folks said, 5-7, 4-8, kind of leave it as it is. No game looks winnable at this point. But I disagree. I think Florida is a very winnable game, and I think Arkansas is a very winnable game. And to be quite honest with you, these are going to be your best shots. And as I don't want to be killed for this, I actually think Missouri is a winnable game at the end of the season. Missouri cannot throw the ball. And they're very one-dimensional. And Alabama held Ahmad Hardy to 52 yards rushing, so they had to be one-dimensional, and they had to throw the ball, and they could not do it. Bo Perbula, for all the scrambling ability he has, and he has a lot, he's just not a super accurate thrower. And even though he's got really good weapons, if Mississippi State can find a way, I don't know if they can, but if they can find a way to kind of keep Ahmad Hardy in check and make Bo Perbula throw the ball, then you're gonna have some issues. But now Missouri has got some pass rushers as well. It seems like basically everybody in Mississippi State has several good pass rushers, or at least it's who Mississippi State is playing, which at this point is a lot of really, really good teams. And again, Thursday we'll kind of get more so into the predictions of each game this weekend. But there's a lot of really interesting ones. Oklahoma is playing South Carolina, and South Carolina looks remarkably average. LSU is an underdog. I cannot imagine. I'm 30 years old. I cannot imagine ever saying this out loud. LSU is an underdog to Vanderbilt. And I know it's in Nashville, but so is Morgan Wallen, man. Like, what's the big deal? It's Nashville. Like, you shouldn't be too ruckus of a crowd. That's crazy to see them, not favored. Ole Miss is on the road at Georgia. Georgia is favored, I think, by 7 points at this point. That's an interesting one because Ole Miss is undefeated at this moment, but I don't know how their quarterback's going to play on the road. On the road versus a team like Georgia. That'll be interesting when A&M and Arkansas are playing. Arkansas, I do have a kind of something I'd love to coin if there's a way to get this on a t-shirt and say that it came from MyDawgsPod, just so we can get some cash into the podcast in this way. Can we call Arkansas's defense, instead of the Bad News Bears, the Bad News Boars? I wrote that on accident earlier. I was trying to say Bears and spelled out Boars, and then I just kind of kept it. And I was like, actually, you know what? That's a really great. I'm going to keep that there. Texas is playing Kentucky. You know, a new fantasy football punishment idea would be like you have to watch every play of a Kentucky game without flipping the channel or looking at your phone. And I don't know how many people could do it. I mean, that'd be a miserable thing to do. Alabama is hosting is hosting Tennessee in Tuscaloosa. And then Auburn is playing Missouri. And same thing, talk about people being done. Is this kind of it for Hugh Freeze? Forget about the bad calls in the Georgia-Auburn game, and there was a lot. Is this going to be it for him? Like, it felt like at some point, okay, this is not going to work. It's just not going to be able to happen, unfortunately. So a lot of really interesting games to look at throughout this week. But I'd love to know from you, whether commenting here or follow us on Twitter. I'd love to know, like, is this going to be the it for Billy Napier? Is this it for? It feels like the end. It feels like there's no that you cannot go much further than where we are at this moment. I don't know. I'm interested. I did love the fact that Lebby said that he was encouraged by Fluff Bothwell's progress. It looks like it's not a season-ending injury, which is great because it did not look good in the moment there versus A&M. So overall, on the injury front, I mean, you pretty positive news compared to where you could be if you're Mississippi State. So we'll be right back at the end of. We're going to listen to a few messages from MPW Digital. When we come back, I do also want to get to a couple other jobs that came open and some jobs that might be open very soon, including another one in the SEC, formerly the SEC East, that I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about. We'll hear about that when we come back. You're listening to MyDawgsPod on MPW Digital, presented by
all MPW Digital podcasts are brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it remarkably well. The doctor is introducing their new go-to IPA, Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb, dry hopped with a blend of their favorite hand-selected hops from the Yakima Valley in Washington. Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good, considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. The pour glows a rich cantaloupe hue with a thick frosted haze, soft mouthfeel, an aroma and taste that's full of passion fruit, papaya, and blood orange, making it drink like a glass of freshly squeezed juice. They also have Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from Yakima Valley. Expect pungent grapefruit flavors and aromas, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most IPAs. Again, it's Parish Brewing Company. Wherever you get your beer, check out Parish. Make sure that you look for them, because any beer that you get from Parish is going to be absolutely outstanding. Thank you from MPW Digital.
All right. So, we talked about James Franklin. That's been talked about so many times. He's been let go. I personally think Napier is on his way out this weekend. I think even a close loss to Mississippi State, or close win to Mississippi State, I still think that's it. Auburn and Hugh Freeze, that feels like it's kind of coming to an end as well, whether it's at the end of the season or right now. But there's one job that is not being discussed. Also, I did want to mention Trent Dilfer, of course, gets let go from UAB. It makes me really sad because when Coach Clark was there, Bill Clark was there at UAB, and really had it rolling in 9 and 10 wins. It made me so happy, especially, the program, remember, that was shut down back in whatever that was, 2013, 2014. And it was just easy to kind of root for UAB, and it's such a shame. Like, they're in such a bad spot. They've been just not competitive, and it's sad. So I'm interested to see where they go in terms of getting a new guy. But one team that I don't feel like is being discussed right now as a team that could possibly be finished, it could kind of be it when it comes to Sorry, I'm having some microphone difficulties. Let me make sure that I still can make sure you can still hear me. Um, it's tough to be your own producer, you know. There we go. Okay, we're good. But one of the teams is currently 3-3. They just came off of a 20-10 loss versus LSU, and this week they have Oklahoma. It's South Carolina. South Carolina's got Oklahoma this week at home. Got Bama at home next week. I mean, both of those should be losses. Maybe you can find a way to beat Oklahoma. I don't think you will. Then you go at Ole Miss, at A&M. I think you at least go 1-3, and if you go 1-3 in the next one, you're 4-6. You got Coastal Carolina. That should be an easy win, and then you got Clemson, which is at home, but you're playing Clemson to go 6-6. I just don't think for the money that they're investing in their quarterback and their defensive linemen, like South Carolina's investing a lot of money and not getting what they want in return. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that they would let go of Shane Beamer after 6-6. It's just not big, a huge deal. But I do wonder if, because of all the chatter and talk, if he's probably already been thinking about what it would look like to be at Virginia Tech, and if Virginia Tech really, really got rolling, would a 6-6 or 5-7 and people talking crazy stuff allow him to leave and go to Virginia Tech? My immediate thought is, I mean, you would say, well, no, South Carolina's an SEC job. The issue is, though, there's a different thing for Shane Beamer, and it's his dad's legacy, and man, he knows what it's like to coach there. He's seen it whenever it's at its peak, and I wonder if that is enough to pull him away from South Carolina. Remember a couple years ago, allegedly, Shane Beamer's name was being floated out before Jeff Lebby was hired to come to Mississippi State, and I remember that being an interesting thing because, of course, he has the ties to Starkville because he can recruit really well. I mean, you can look at his team right now, but it's just it's like it's as if, I mean, the black and white piece of it, and I know it's not the actual case, but it's as if they spent all their money on their quarterback and their defensive end, Dylan Stewart, and then they were just like, all right, and just kind of left it alone. And of course, it's more complicated than that. But as you look at it, you're like, gee, why is there not more pieces? Like, why can they not get a kind of a top tier running back? They have some playmakers at receiver, but I just don't feel like they have a ton of pieces outside of that. So I wonder if that's enough for Shane Beamer to push through and go, all right, you know what? I'm going home. Virginia Tech's going to invest money. Let's be honest. It's going to be easier to make the playoff at Virginia Tech than it is at South Carolina. So if that's the kind of the perspective, I 100% get it. I don't know. Again, I don't know if he would do that, but that's kind of what would lead you to go, okay, maybe so. But circling back to kind of finishing off here, if Mississippi State can find a way to beat Florida, if they are able to do that, then what that allows Mississippi State to do for the rest of the season is have a little bit of house money, because Mississippi State is going to have the ability, because the very next week, Arch Manning and company are coming to town, and Texas played really well against Oklahoma, but that seemed like the first time they kind of put, some things together. But if State's 5-2 hosting Texas, that's a lot of momentum, man. Then you go on the road at Arkansas. That should be a win. We'll see. That potentially could get you to bowl eligibility. And then, I mean, again, it's house money. You were locked into a bowl, probably the Birmingham Bowl, if I had to guess, which would get a lot of Mississippi State people there. I mean, the State fans would never have been so excited to be in the Birmingham Bowl than they would being able to be there. But that's kind of the case. I mean, they if you beat Florida, you ought on the road, you ought to be able to beat Arkansas on the road. It's the same thing we said. If State was able to beat Arizona State, I said they should be able to beat Tennessee. And goodness gracious, they were really close. They couldn't pull it off, but they were very close to doing so. Now, looking at the rest of the schedule, this Florida game means a whole lot. There's a lot riding on it for different reasons. Billy Napier is trying to keep his job, trying to keep things in line. Mississippi State's just trying to get to a bowl, and this is one of the ones where you look at it and you go, I think they have a shot here. But again, it's not like it's a nighttime kind of raucous environment. I don't know. I'm excited to make my pick on Thursday. I picked the only game I've picked Mississippi State to win so far, because I did not pick them to beat Arizona State. I thought they would have lost to Arizona State. I picked them to lose to Tennessee. Close, actually. That one I got right. I picked them to beat Texas A&M, and boy was I wrong. I mean, A&M is an absolute wagon. They can, especially this week too. So A&M this week, who do they play? It is Arkansas. Yeah, A&M is going to. I feel like, I know that's usually a close game. I feel like it's always a close game. Arkansas's secondary is just not very good, and Texas A&M, as State fans have seen, they can take the top off of defense. I'm really, really, really. I'd be surprised if Arkansas keeps that one within 10. I really would. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be a great week of college football. I hope you're excited about it. Remember, make sure you enter into our giveaway presented by Hovey on Thursdays. Go to our Twitter, wait for the tweet to go out, and make sure you get your prediction in as fast as you can so that you can give yourself the best shot to win. So give us your prediction, the winner, the score, and whoever had the right answer, the closest answer first, is going to be the winner, and Hovey will mail you the hat. As always, man, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much for our presenting sponsor, Heath Riles Barbecue. Grill with confidence, season like a pro. Grill something amazing this weekend. If you're going to smoke an alligator, which was what I was planning on doing initially, but we kind of have some family things going on. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to pull that off. If you're going to smoke a gator, let me know. Use some Heath Riles. I'd probably maybe use the Heath Riles Cajun Creole garlic butter. Throw some of that on there. If you're gonna do it though, tag me in a photo. I just want to see it. I just want to see what you're making. And if it comes to smoked meats, like I'm locked in. I want to see it. As always, man, thank you guys so much for listening to My Dogs Pod on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue. We'll see you next time.